Well, welcome everybody to the second weekend of the 2022 Tuba Bach Music Festival, our 17th year. We are happy to have you here with us, whether you're here in person or joining us on YouTube or Facebook or live on the radio on 97.3. However you may be listening today, we're happy that you're here and joining us. I think you're going to enjoy today's program. It's a whole lot of tubas going on. Pretty neat. 8 tubas and euphoniums on stage and piano and all of that. So a good variety with all of that. I want to take a really quick moment and recognize the folks that help make programs like this possible. On the front of a program, if you have that, you can see our sponsors that are all there. If you're watching on the live stream, you can see it crawl across the bottom. But we have a lot of wonderful organizations that are helping to sponsor this and individuals too. And take a look through this. If there are people in here that you know, first off, if those people are you, thank you. You guys are awesome. If you know and recognize some of these businesses, stop in and thank them and let them know how important it is to you that they support the arts in our community because it wouldn't happen without them. So in particular, I want to point out our platinum sponsors. The Michigan State University College of Music is a new collaboration that Tuba Bach has had with them. We're in our second year, and throughout the whole year, we'll be bringing up musicians, students, and faculty from down there, and it's pretty exciting to have that. Reader Pianos is responsible for our wonderful new piano. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the show. The Michigan Arts and Culture Council takes very good care of us throughout the year, as does the National Endowment for the Arts and Arts Midwest, and Ferris State University, and especially want to thank Ferris and Dr. Scott Cohen, who's going to be conducting today, but for helping us out with enough music stands and chairs so that we didn't have to stand up and memorize everything. So that was very helpful. So the program today is going to be roughly in 3/3. And each third is going to feature some student soloists with piano, with Dr. Polischuk from MSU playing piano. And then, so there'll be essentially a big ensemble piece with all of us, and then a soloist, and then a quartet with Phil Sinder and myself, and then 2 students from one of the schools, and then another soloist, and then we'll be back for the next third with a big piece and so on. So we have 2 students with us from Central Michigan University, Ryan, back here in the tuba section, Ryan Novak and Emily Gradowski up front. We've got 2 gentlemen from Grand Valley. Reese Zeller is up here in front, and Mike Ring in the back. And we've got 2 gentlemen here from Michigan State University, Patrick Mulligan down here and Ben McWilliams back there. So it's been great to have a chance to work with these students. And then the old guy department, Dr. Polischuk is over here from Michigan State University. He'll be playing piano, well, just saying older than the other ones. Not as old as Phil. So Phil Sinder from Michigan State University, Dr. Cohen, Scott Cohen here from Ferris, and myself. So we are going to, with the large ensemble pieces, especially kind of a mix of this big glorious sound of 4 tubas and 4 euphoniums. The first piece we're going to do is originally written as a choral piece. Pavel Chesnikov is a Russian composer. This piece was written, Salvation is Created, was written right before Stalin shut things down and said, no more religious music, none of that going on. And this was right before then, and it was one of the first pieces that was played when the wall came down just not that long ago in the 80s. So Salvation is Created with the octet with Dr. Cohen. Here we go. Thank you very much. Isn't that just like a glorious sound in here? Just fills up. So many thanks to Emmanuel Lutheran Church for this wonderful space where we can do these concerts. It just fills the room up. So in this first third of the program, our soloists are going to be the gentlemen from Grand Valley, and the quartet that's in the middle are going to be the MSU guys. So first solo up, this is Reese Zeller. He's going to play From the Shores of the Mighty Pacific by Herbert Clark. All right. Again, Reese Zeller. Thank you, Reese. So, as promised, the quartet that we do is going to feature Patrick and Ben from Michigan State going to join Phil and myself, and we're going to do two short pieces, an original work for tuba quartet by James Barnes, and then a transcription. So on the program, all of the solo pieces that these students are doing are all original works for their instruments, and then the ensemble things that we're doing, the quartets and the large pieces, are all kind of a mix of original pieces and transcriptions. Transcription meaning a piece that was originally for something else, and then we stole it. We do that a lot. So this fanfare is, the first short fanfare was written for tuba quartet. The solfeggietto, so C.P.E. Bach was one of Bach's many prolific sons that was doing things, and this was originally a keyboard piece, and essentially it's a single line, just one note at a time, and we're having a good time passing that around amongst the four of us and try to make it as seamless as possible so that you don't know for sure which one of us is playing. So we'll see how that goes today. But this is James Barnes fanfare and C.P.E. Bach solfeggietto, and the MSU gentlemen, Ben McWilliams and Patrick Mulligan, joining Phil and myself. Okay, and then to round out this section, back to the soloists from Grand Valley, this is Mike Ring. Also wanted to mention, sorry, I should tell you what school they're from, but also where they're from, because we got all across the state of Michigan, and in Mike's case, out of Michigan. So Mike is from the Chicago area. Glad to have him here, and glad to have family here supporting. Thank you, sir. And if I go back to Reese from Muskegon, yes? So very cool. And he had family here last night. And I mentioned family because how important that is. And I know there's family folks that are here today, and we had family folks here last night. Thank you all so much, because it's the families supporting that makes students students and do what they do, right? So without supportive families, while they're in the early years when it doesn't sound this good, being supportive is important. And now when it does sound this good that you're here, it's wonderful. So thank you all, and those of you that are parents and family of other musicians and things, thank you so much. So we appreciate that. Mike and the Jan Ketzier's Sonatina, yeah? All right. Mike Ring. Thank you, Mike. So now we're back to a octet piece again. This is another transcription. This was originally written for organ. Usually when I'm talking about Tuba Bach and the festival and all that, and I'm explaining it to people, I say, well, it's really not about just tubas and it's not about Bach. But for the next 5 minutes, it is. It's all about tubas and it's all about Bach. So it's a prelude and fugue by J.S. Bach that has been arranged for this ensemble. So Scott, come back up and conduct us, and here we go. So Friday night was when all of us got together and met for the first time, and I have to say how cool it is. I'm all for sports. I like athletics. I watch the games. I do whatever it is. But how great it's been to have students here from 3 different universities, and nobody's trying to keep score. Nobody's trying to figure out which university is the best, which one's what. It's been 6 friends that got to know each other and play together and work together as one team, and it's been a wonderful weekend. Thank you, folks. So, that being said, I'm glad nobody's here from Washington right now. So the 3 universities are all close to me. The students from Central, I did my undergraduate degree at CMU many years ago. And then MSU, I did my graduate studies down there with Phil many years ago. And at Grand Valley is where my wife is right now doing her graduate studies. So all 3 universities close to the Mallett family, and so it's been fun. Appreciate having that. And we can talk more about that. But right now, from Central Michigan University, Mr. Ryan Novak. From Perry, down by Owasso, yes? There we go. And this is the first movement of Harold Plow's Tuba Concerto. So again, thank you, Ryan. Ryan Novak from Central Michigan. So we talked about parents and how important that is, and colleagues and friends and all of that. The other part that I want to make sure that we thank is the teachers who are working with these folks. And Paul Carlson is the professor of low brass at Grand Valley. And he's off on tour with the Dallas Brass right now, so not able to be here. But Professor Mark Cox is out here. Stand up, Mark, for a second. This is Mark. He is a professor of low brass at Central Michigan University. Does great things there. So thank you. And of course, Professor Phil Sinder from MSU. So super happy to have those. So Grand Valley gentlemen, come on up because we're going to play Russian Sailors Dance. And that'll be pretty cool. And then So this is a, I don't know, what's this originally for? Is this an orchestral piece, yeah? Yep. So a whole orchestra knocked down to just the four of us. It's really all you need. right, and then to finish off this set of the program, on euphonium, again from Central Michigan University, this is Emily Gradowski. She's from Bay City. All of these students, by the way, are all music majors. Some of them performance, some of them music education majors, but they're going to go on and be, whether that be band directors, high school, college band directors, professional orchestral musicians or whatever. Somewhere out there in the world, there's 6 places that are going to be pretty lucky to have these folks a part of whatever they do in the future. So, yeah, Emily from Bay City, and she is playing the Concert Fantasy by Gustav Kords. Emily Gradowski. Thank you. So before we do the next piece, we're at about the 2/3 point. We don't get to do an actual intermission when we're doing these live streams and radio broadcasts, but do take a minute, stand up. Everybody stand up. Stretch, bend your knees, do what you got to do. If you are watching online, then you're going to see some our sponsors crawl across the bottom of the screen, and don't pay attention to what I'm about to say next. Those of you that are here, when this is all over with, you got this chance to stretch now. After the concert, make sure you head all the way across the lobby to the big room where Mom's cookies are. That's an important part of Tuba Bach, and we've missed it for 2 years without being able to do live concerts. So Mom's cookies are back, and take part in that. So that's that commercial for you guys. That's the commercial for them. Now, everybody that's standing here, look directly this way. If you are at home, wherever you are, try to face north, wherever north may be. If you're driving and listening to the radio, don't do this, unless you're driving north anyway. Now, turn 45 degrees to your left. Very good. You are now angling east, which is the title of the next piece that we're going to play. So this is an original piece for tuba octet. And Zach Collins is the professor of low brass at Indiana University, Pennsylvania. It's a really cool piece. We've had a lot of fun doing it. And we've appreciated having the opportunity to work with Dr. Scott Cohen conducting us. And when we get to pieces like this, it's really evident why we need a conductor, and it's been a whole lot of fun. So come back up, Dr. Cohen, and thank you for all the work you've been doing. And angle east. So, I should point out, for those of you that don't have bios or things, if you're here, you can read all about these performers. If you're online and you don't know who these people are, you should read about them and what they do, and everybody's bios and all that are on the Tuba Bach website, www.tubabach.org. But at the very least, I should mention that Dr. Cohen is here on the Ferris State University faculty. He's the head of the humanities department and also the director of the instrumental ensembles and all that. So we are now on our last set of soloists and quartets and things like that. The soloists are going to be from Michigan State. This is Patrick Mulligan playing Beautiful Colorado by Joseph DeLuca. 'Tis Patrick Mulligan. Yay. So, 17 years into the Tuba Bach Festival, and for 16 of those 17 years, Phil Sinder has been coming up and a part of all that. I started my graduate studies with him back in 1992. He started at Michigan State University back in 1982, 40 years down at Michigan State. That's pretty awesome. So I very much look forward every year to the weekend that Phil comes up, and for me, still learning from him, and to be able to sit. Most of the time we play quartets and whatever when he's up here, and it's still to sit in a small group right next to him. I still learn so much from him, and look forward to that every year. And for this weekend to have all 6 of these students to also have the opportunity to sit in the quartet with Phil, I think has been pretty amazing. And so if you didn't notice it this weekend, you'll look back on it and say, oh my gosh, I got to do that. So it's pretty amazing. Awesome. So we're going to, our last group of quartet people from Central, so Emily and Ryan going to come up and join us. We're going to play a tune called Sleeping Giants, a little light jazz number by Lenny Niehaus. So, time for our final soloist of the afternoon. This is Ben McWilliams from Michigan State and from Augusta, down by Battle Creek. Ben, I also want to mention, was an intern with Tuba Bach for all of last year, from way back in the summer of 21 up until about May or so of this year, and it was wonderful having Ben work with us, and he did a great job with all sorts of things, and we miss him as an intern. Maybe he'll come back. You never know. But it's pretty cool to have him here on the stage and play. But before you play, sir, want to thank Dr. Polischuk over at the piano, and much like, yes. So, just as I mentioned how much of a treat it is to be able to play in a quartet with Phil, likewise, for these students to have the opportunity to collaborate with Derek, I think is a pretty cool opportunity. So thank you so much for doing that. Derek is, of course, on the faculty down at Michigan State University. And I also want to mention, let me grab my program. If you look in the program towards the end, there's a big picture of a grand piano, which is that instrument. And over the past year, we've been doing a fundraiser so that Tuba Bach has our very own concert grand piano for these concerts. Happy to report that it is all totally bought and paid for. Thank you. And much like the others, if you're on this list of people, thank you so much. If you know somebody that's on this list of people, thank them. But I mention that now especially because it was I don't even remember when it was, but last summer sometime, that at Reader Pianos, where this came from, and by the way, if you need a new piano, you should go down to Lansing to Reader Pianos. It's an awesome place, and that's where this came from. But I met Derek at Reader's showroom one day, and he tried out, while I listened, probably 8 or 9 big concert grand pianos, and went around the room, and I said, you play them, and just whatever you think feels the best to play, and I'm going to go across the room, and I'm going to listen. And both of us kept coming back to this very piano, and it's the one that we have here, and I just want to thank you again for helping us pick it out. Thank you, sir. So the last of these solo pieces, Ben is going to play, and Derek is going to play. This is a killer piece for both of you, Bruce Broughton's Turbulence.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Ed invited me to come to the microphone and just say a couple of quick things. And it's great to have you with us today, both here in person and virtually. What a tour you've had of the tuba and euphonium repertoire today. 6 really cool solo pieces, some older ones, some newer ones, quartet music, ensemble music, and really interesting perspective on how our instruments work. So we're happy to present that for you. I just want to echo some of the comments Ed made earlier about how this group has meshed together in such a short amount of time. It was kind of my idea that I pitched to Ed a long time ago that we might construct a program this way, and he grabbed onto it right away, and we really didn't know how it would play out until everyone came Friday night, and the 6 college students just meshed together beautifully, and we had limited number of rehearsals, but it was really productive and fun. And so often, even though we have many excellent schools of music here in Michigan, we tend to stay in our own silos, and so to have something that connects these 3 institutions in a unique way was a really fun project. So thanks for taking that on and doing it, and thanks for all 6 of you for making it happen. Okay, how about, I think your festival needs a name change. Yeah, we're going to call it the Tuba Beethoven Festival for the next 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So we're into the very last segment of our program. Ed and I are going to play 2 short duets, and then the ensemble will finish things off. And we have a string duet of Beethoven that's been adapted for woodwinds and now brought down to the lowest possible musical level. And then we're going to finish with an original work by German composer Rolf Wilhelm titled Ragtime.
All right, now we're into the home stretch. Just two to go, two big octet pieces. This second to the last one is by John Cheatham, just a cool name, Mashed Potatoes. How could you not play a song like that? So, Scott, come back up. Here we go with the mashed taters. Okay, so a couple of things, business things need to take care of. Thank you again to all of our sponsors. Thanks to all of our donors. If you would like to be added to our list of donors, if you want to be added to our mailing list, all sorts of things, there's a table just outside the door. We can sign you up. We would love to do that. There are a couple of my old Tubas on the way out the door. They take donations nicely if you are so inclined. We appreciate that. The way we've been able to keep concerts for free for 17 years is by donations from people like you. So thank you so much for making that possible. There are also some of our CDs out there. You can read about them a little bit in the back. I'm happy to talk to you about them, but mostly they're just there. Take some Tuba Bach home with you and enjoy that. And that's another way that you can help support our group. So there's still 4 more weeks to go. Next weekend, Mark Shalansky and David Thorne Scott are going to be here. They call themselves Dyad. They're both on the faculty at the Berklee College of Music. It's going to be a really fun program of jazz, pop, kind of that sort of a thing. The next week, so then that's October 1st and 2nd, my son Noah will be back here. We're going to be doing marimba and euphonium duet things, very classical things that Noah has arranged for the two of us. So Saint-Saëns and Bach and Piazzolla and things like that. That's going to be a lot of fun. The next week, so the 5th week of the festival, Rod Dixon and Alfreda Burke are amazing vocalists. They have been on the Broadway stage and on the New York Met stage and all over Europe and Asia, and they sing and they're on PBS. They do great things, and we love to have them here at Tuba Bach. So they will be here along with Alvin Waddles, and we're going to do a program of gospel music. And then the final week of this year's festival features Mike Stevens, harmonica player from Canada, along with a new face to us here. Kevin Bujo Jones is a master percussionist, African and Latin kind of percussion and very cool things. So that's going to mush together, and I don't know what it is, but it's going to be amazing. So come back for that. Tuba Bach performers and favorites and things like that. The other day, Friday morning, I believe, got a phone call from Raymond McLean. And if you are Tuba Bach friends from years past, you know the McLean family. And first off, Raymond says hi to everybody and looking forward to coming back up here. Earlier in the summer, this ended up in our conversation. If you remember from the news, there was some major flooding in eastern Kentucky, in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, and particularly near the town of Hindman, which is where the McLeans grew up. So he and I were talking about all the rescue efforts and how things are going. Things aren't going, I mean, they're going, but it's a struggle down there. There's a lot of need. If anybody's interested and so inclined, there's a lot of places you can look. But very specifically, we talked about music, how important music is when we're feeling great, but how important music is when we're not feeling so great too, and it can help unite. And in a country that's, I think, not always terribly united right now, and lots of divisions, that's one way we can come together. There's a lot of families, a lot of musicians down there that all of a sudden found out they don't have any instruments anymore. They washed away in the flood along with everything else, and they're either gone or ruined or whatever. So talked with Raymond. If any of you have and are interested in this project, if you have specifically string instruments, this kind of from what would work in what would be traditional music in that region, guitars, mandolins, banjos, fiddles, big basses, mountain dulcimers, that kind of a thing. If you have them, they're laying around in your house, they're collecting dust, they're not doing anything. For the next 4 weeks, bring them in, and when this festival's all done, I'm going to put them in my van and take a road trip down to Kentucky, and Raymond and I are going to take them over to Hindman and get them to people that can use them. So if you're interested in that, come talk to me about it, and that'll be great. So many thanks to Adriana and Jane, who are going to be, again, out at the table with the CDs. They helped you get in here. Paul is back there at one of our cameras. Jeff, there's one Jeff that's somewhere. I know that Jeff. I'm looking for the other Jeff. But then there's this Jeff. So Jeff Cabalas over here at Command Central, and these guys make the whole live stream possible and everything. So thank you for doing that. Steve back at the controls at Sunny 97.3. So thanks to those gentlemen. Mom's cookies. Don't forget that. That's important. We have all of that. Thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome. So these wonderful musicians, Patrick and Reese and Emily and Mike and Ryan and Ben and Phil, And Scott and Derek, thank you all so much. Another round of applause for them, please. Okay. We almost made it through the program with no changes, but we didn't quite. So the last piece on the program, it says here that we were going to do a Sousa thing. We're not going to do a Sousa thing. We're going to do a Spanish piece, Jaime Texador's Amparito Roca. It's a paso doble, yeah? Yeah, and it's kind of like Scott says this is like Spain's version of the Stars and Stripes Forever. Without the piccolo, it's like with tubas, it's even cooler. Amparito Roca.